It may be the end of those days when IT companies were seen firefighting talent management. India's software services companies are projected to see a drop in attrition rates in the coming quarters. Fiscal year 2022 witnessed attrition across India's IT bellwethers touch an unprecedented 25%, according to a TeamLease report. It was triggered by mass layoffs and employees landing better opportunities. Attrition at Infosys for the fourth quarter of FY23 stood at 20.9%, down from the 24.3% in the third quarter and 27.7% in the second quarter. Attrition rate at TCS also comes down to 20.1% in quarter 4 FY23. Unlike Infosys, TCS increased its headcount by around 22,600 employees in FY23, but its attrition remained much higher than the pre-pandemic levels of 12 to 13%. Here's an overview of the attrition scenario in the sector.
The attrition rates in the Indian IT sector remains high, and the average is above 20% till the last quarter, which is quite high compared to the benchmark which we have seen at the pre-COVID period. Now, this is partly because of the demand and supply gap which is there still exists. But even though it has decreased to a certain extent, but it is not a significant decrease, I would say, at this point in time that we start celebrating. So this is going to last for some more time.
Another bellwether of the Indian IT service companies, HCL, reported an attrition of 19.5% in quarter 4 FY23. This was a decrease as against 21.7% in quarter 3 FY23. HCL also added a significant number of employees in the last quarter. The number stood at 4,480. While attrition rates are headed downhill for all IT majors, they are still much higher than their pre-pandemic levels, which was between 6 to 16%. So, how are Indian IT companies dealing with high attrition?
Yeah, so I think in general, the way to deal with high attrition is to increase hiring, which is what the response companies had during COVID. Now, what's happened is that there is softness in demand, particularly from US clients and also European clients. So companies are a little retrospect in attrition. In fact, everyone believes that attrition is going to come down further to pre-COVID levels, right? Which are, I think, reasonably healthy levels. You have to also note that in an IT company, some attrition is also good because not everyone who gets hired has the ability to walk up the pyramid. So healthy attrition rate between 12 to 15% is usually manageable and actually desirable for an IT company.
Infosys, which saw a sharp drop in attrition rate and reduction in number of employees, is yet to share a hiring target for FY24. This comes as a surprise since the company is known for regular hiring every fiscal year. With attrition rates hovering above pre-COVID levels, what needs to be done to get it down to normal levels?
I would suggest that the organization culture can help them retain. And if the organization is more purpose-driven organization, where employees can relate their own purpose with organizational purpose and goals. If there is empathy in the organization which exists, they can help to retain more people comparatively. Sometimes the offers which they get is so lucrative that even though there are attractive benefits to stay back, they still tend to switch over. So culture is very important. Organizations do spend a lot of time on strategy, but very less time on culture.
The attrition rates have been high, only to come down in the last quarter of FY23. But how will they turn out to be in FY24? Here's what experts share on what to expect.
Yeah, so for me, there are two scenarios, right? Scenario number one is there's a scenario of just a softening of demand and a slowdown of demand. With that, what will happen is that the attrition, which is both voluntary and involuntary attrition, will actually come down and normalize to pre-COVID levels. And that's because the voluntary attrition will become nearly zero because there are no real opportunities outside your current company where people are suddenly going to give you a pay hike. The real issue to worry about if you're an employee of such a company is involuntary attrition. If there's a dramatic scenario like a recession in the US and a dramatic cut in IT spends, then what will happen? IT companies will be forced to use involuntary attrition as a tool to reduce headcount, right? So in that scenario, you may see attrition increase, but then that's the wrong kind of attrition in a way. It's not voluntary attrition, it's actually involuntary attrition which will increase which is also a very likely scenario.
Experts say that some level of attrition is desirable in IT companies. However, the present scenario is far from that. Some suggest that improving the culture of the organization for employees to resonate with companies' goals can help retain people. The good news is that attrition is coming down, but how exactly will things pan out remains to be seen.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.